You're watching Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham. On today's show, we're going to take a look at a post-NFL Combine mock draft. It's Bears Mock Draft 2.0. We're going to rock and roll with you guys with it on today's show. NFL Combine is, of course, in the books. Call this a post-Combine pre-free agency mock draft. We'll cook up another mock after free agency, is a week old or something like that. And Bears have several needs, let's be honest, but only have 5 draft picks. So that's kind of the balance for Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus and Ian Cunningham and this staff as free agency is around the corner. They'll fill some of these needs, but there will still be some once the draft gets here. I think these are some of the notable ones. Offensive line really could be all 3 positions, center, guard, tackle, depending on how they view current guys on the roster. Wide receiver, we've beat the drum on that one. Darnell Mooney is good. You don't have much else. Cornerback, kind of the same deal. Jalen Johnson is good. Maybe Thomas Graham is good. Who knows? Don't have much else. Defensive tackle in this new 4-3 scheme is a need. And then safety as well, next to Eddie Jackson. I think you could get by with less there compared to these other positions, but I do think you're going to have to get a safety either in free agency or in the draft. Now, I mentioned the 5 draft picks. This is it. No first-round pick due to the Justin Fields trade. 39 overall in round 2, 71 overall in round 3, 2 fifth-round picks, and then a pick in the 6th round as well. No 7th-round pick due to the Jakeem Grant trade, or no, it was the Anthony Miller trade, excuse me. Anthony Miller trade is the reason there's no 7th-round pick. All right, so before we cook up Bears Mock Draft 2.0, which are you more excited for? Type D for the draft, type F for NFL free agency. Which are you more fired up about because free agency is almost here. The draft will be here in late April. I'm excited for both. Let me know. Type D for draft or type F for free agency. All right, let's get Bears Mock Draft 2.0 underway. Zion Johnson, the selection out of Boston College, the interior offensive lineman. And by the way, we use the Pro Football Network draft simulator, so if you think these picks are unrealistic, I tried to keep them as realistic as possible. Go blame those guys. I think Zion at 39 is very possible, though. He could go first round. He could fall into the mid-late second round. So I think 39 overall is a possibility. We've talked about him. Powerful interior O-lineman with guard center flexibility. I think he's a guard. My draft guy, Tom Downey, that I talked to, thinks he's a guard as well. But, hey, maybe he's a guard and your backup center, a la Cody Whitehair and or James Daniels. And let's be honest, this offensive line needs revamping across the entire unit. Speaking of James Daniels, Zion Johnson could just replace him at right guard, and you don't re-sign Daniels. That could certainly happen as well. I would love this pick at 39 overall. I think it's good value. I think he's an instant impact guy. And ideally, you have a starting caliber lineman for at least 4 years during his rookie contract, if not 8 to 10, if he gets a second deal as well. I like his upside. He's a relentless worker. He's powerful. I think he fits what the Bears would like to do up front as well. Let's just be honest. As you guys look at this unit, there is basically zero certainty in this group. I don't know how they view Tevin Jenkins, Larry Borum. I don't know if James Daniels is coming back as he's a free agent. Is Sam Mustipher re-signing? If he is he a starter at center? I doubt it. Cody Whitehair is your only starter coming back that started for more than a season, and he wasn't very good last year. This O-line needs work. There's no doubt about it, and Zion Johnson could help right away. Other players that were on the board when I made this selection, Lewis Sine, the safety out of Georgia. I would like him, but you got bigger needs. Kenneth Walker, you don't need a running back, but he had a hell of a combine. Jahan Dotson, I took him, the receiver out of Penn State in my last mock draft. Wanted to do something different this time. Cameron Thomas, the edge out of San Diego State, and then Drake Jackson, another edge out of USC. But I went with Zion Johnson, and if you like the pick, then type L for like. You can also like the video. If you hated the pick, if you disliked it, type H for hate. I think it's a good selection. I think it fills a need right away, and it helps protect Justin Fields. Next up in our Bears Mock Draft 2.0, post-combine pre-free agency edition, Skyy Moore. You might have heard his name, the receiver out of Western Michigan. He's been gaining some traction as a day 2 type of selection at the wide receiver position. He's been rising up draft boards. Tested pretty well. I think ran a 4.43, 4.41, somewhere in there in the 40-yard dash. Tested pretty well in other drills as well. Primarily a slot receiver, which could drop him a bit. Maybe it's why he could fall to the 3rd round here, but I think he could play some outside, not full-time, but get some snaps out there. really productive, really good route runner. He's been getting comps to Cooper Kupp, which, I mean, okay. Cooper Kupp's one of the best receivers in the NFL, and I don't mind too much that he's primarily a slot. Good teams are putting good players in the slot these days, even if they can play the outside. And I think that the Bears would be smart to do that. And I think Skyy Moore could fit that need. So just kind of, stick with me here. You got Darnell Mooney on the outside. Let's say you add Skyy Moore to the slot. Just pretend Marquise Goodwin was the slot receiver there. You erase him, you put Skyy Moore. Yeah, you're going to lose Allen Robinson. You sign another outside receiver, I don't know, a DJ Chark, a Christian Kirk. You draft Skyy Moore to play the slot. You got Darnell Mooney. It's not incredible, but it's a pretty decent threesome at wide receiver. Like, it's a good trio at the end of the day. So I think that could be a possibility as we progress here. I mean, the dream scenario is sign a guy like Amari Cooper if he becomes available, and then draft Skyy Moore. We'll see what happens with Cooper. Depending on when you're watching this, that could be cleared up. But you could do worse than a trio of that magnitude. Other guys on the board when I made this selection, you've got Sean Ryan, the tackle out of UCLA, Romeo Doubs, the wide receiver out of Nevada, Ed Ingram, the interior lineman from LSU, Boye Mafe, the edge out of Minnesota. He's been getting some late round 1 buzz, so I don't think he'll actually be here in round 3. And then Fidarian Mathis, the defensive tackle out of Alabama. So some other players that were available when I decided to draft Skyy Moore. Important question for you guys. Do you want a Bears mock draft with trades? This is mock draft 2.0. Didn't do any trades today, but I could cook one up with trades next time. If you do, subscribe to the channel for more free Bears videos, and type me in the comments if we get enough subs and comments of the word me. Just type me on this video. Our next mock draft will feature some trades. Up to you guys. Hit that sub button and type me. Jalen Armour-Davis, no 4th-round pick, so we jump to the 5th round for the Chicago Bears. Good size for a corner. Limited experience, only a starter for 1 year at Bama. That's a slight concern. It's not a massive concern because this is true for a lot of Bama guys. They sit for a couple of years because there's NFL talent ahead of them. Then they wait their turn. They play well. They go pro. That could be the case here with Armour-Davis. Might need a year to translate to the NFL. Maybe he needs to be a backup for a season. But I think in round 5, this is pretty good value. I've seen him sneak into the 3rd round and into the 4th round in some mock drafts. Good year last year. 3 picks, 4 pass breakups, had 32 tackles. Again, only the 1 year of experience. I would have liked it if he went back to college for another year. But he came out, and hey, if you get him on day 3, Alabama defensive backs on day 3, I think that's very good value considering he's a 6'2 corner, and you need help at corner. You really do. You got Jalen Johnson. I feel good about him. I don't think Kendall Vilder is going to start for this team moving forward. I put him in there because who the hell else is it going to be? Maybe Thomas Graham. I don't know. How does the new regime view him? How do they view Duke Shelley as well? Those are all hypothetical questions, and we'll have to see how it plays out at cornerback. Now, be sure to follow us on Rumble as we have partnered with them. They are also, like YouTube, a video content creator site. You can see a lot of content over there, sports, news, politics, from some major big names over there as well. And now we are on there as well, a lot of our chat sports channel, including Bears Now. Go support us there. Follow us, rumble.com/Bears Now. There's a little follow button. Go hit it. Plus, cool thing too, from time to time, we'll have some bonus content over there. We're not, taking anything away from our YouTube content, but we're adding some more onto Rumble. So if you want more of me, more of Bears Now, go follow us, rumble.com/Bears Now. Next up in my Bears mock draft 2.0, Leo Chanel, round 5, pick 149, hard-hitting off-ball linebacker. Not great in coverage. He's kind of an old-school linebacker, which, the Bears are used to with guys like Lance Briggs and Brian Urlacher. Nowadays, you like to have guys that can cover, but he's good against the run. He's a good blitzer as well. And, hey, when you have Roquan Smith, your other linebacker doesn't need to be a superstar, especially in coverage. I like these numbers for Chanel. 18 tackles for loss, 18 and a half, I should say. 8 sacks as an off-ball linebacker. You could bring him off the edge from time to time as well. A couple of forced fumbles. Wisconsin kid, so he knows the area well. I think that would be an interesting guy to plug in at linebacker. You got Roquan, you got Chanel. Maybe Danny Trevathan can hold down Sam for a season at that Sam linebacker spot. We'll see. But I do think you're going to need at least one competent linebacker next to Roquan Smith. I'm not sure Chenal can be that as a rookie, but if he can, then I definitely think that would be some good value for the Chicago Bears. They need another off-ball linebacker bad. If they don't trust Trevathan and him recovering from injury, he's not been able to stay healthy the past 2 years, then you're going to either have to sign somebody, maybe you bring back Ogletree for a year, or you're going to have to draft somebody, maybe a guy like Chenal could be that guy. So better pick, the cornerback or the linebacker. Type CB for Jalen Armour-Davis, type LB for Leo Chenal. Corner, linebacker, could use both. I think corner's a bigger need. Let me know, which pick do you like better? So no 7th-round pick. This will be the last selection of this Bears mock draft. Tyquan Thornton. I went with kind of a fun pick here. The Bears talk about speed, explosiveness. That is Tyquan Thornton in a nutshell. Ran a 4.26 40 at the Combine. Remember, his initial 40 was a 4.21, but that was unofficial. Got marked down to a 4.26. Oh, he's so slow, right? No, he can absolutely fly. Home run hitter at the wide receiver position. I think you could utilize him on special teams. And he's not just a track guy that ran well at the Combine. Like, he had a good year this year at Baylor. I watched Baylor quite a bit, living down here in Big 12 country. He was a good red zone target with 10 touchdowns. He's 6'2". He's got good size. Could fill out his frame a bit more. But the yards per catch is legit as a speed option. There's some real upside here. Like, you get him in the 6th round, I think some team could probably fall in love with him and draft him in the 3rd or 4th just because of how fast he is at that size at 6'2", 190. Yeah, in the 6th round, I will take Tyquan Thornton. Again, after the Combine, his stock has probably moved higher than that, but, go blame the Pro Football Network simulator. I'm just going off of their mock draft simulator. All right, Tyquan Thornton at least was a sleeper, and maybe he's still in that category. Name someone you think is a draft sleeper this year, a guy that, people aren't talking about a lot here on day 3 of the NFL draft. Let me hear it from you guys. All right, here's my Bears mock draft 2.0. A little recap here. Zion Johnson at the number 39 overall pick in round 2. Skyy Moore, round 3, pick number 71. Jalen Armour-Davis, round 5, pick 148. Leo Chenal, round 5, pick 150. And then Tyquan Thornton, round 6, pick 185. So there you go. There's my Bears mock draft 2.0. And 3.0, if you want trades, subscribe and type me in the comments. Also, grade it, ABCDRF. How do you feel about this mock draft? If you loved it, give it an A. If you liked it, give it a B. If you think it's okay, give it a C. If you didn't like it, give it a D. And if you think I freaking suck at my job, then, well, I guess you can give me an F.